Burgess does a phenomenal job in this book of laying out his system for teaching like a pirate.
He also gives a few great hooks, which we consider as attention getters, that maintain the focus of the students.
If we don't have the key, we can't open whatever it is we don't have that it unlocks. So what purpose would be served in finding whatever need be unlocked, which we don't have, without first having found the key what unlocks it? So, we're going after this key! You're not making any sense at all.
Burgess begins this book talking about passion, which is the first acronym in the Teach Like a Pirate system, the P. We as educators know that passion is fundamental and essential to becoming a master teacher and really engaging your students.
Burgess also refers to passion as the link between personal passion, professional passion, and content passion. You have to believe in what you're teaching. And you have to look inside yourself to figure out what motivates you every day to come and to be an educator.
It's not the pay.
Definitely not the pay. With all its downfalls, the education field has to have motivated teachers. If our teachers aren't motivated to go out and educate the students, what will make the students motivated to come to school? We have to have a passion for what we do. Therefore, we have to instill our passion within our students. So the contents in which we teach, we have to love it so the students will love it. If they don't love it, they can pick up when we don't. So we have to make sure that every day we come in, we have motivation to teach so we can make them have a motivation to learn.
You know, James, it really reminds me of the old adage, find something you're passionate about and you'll never work a day in your life.
It'll be fun.
The I in a Teach for a Pirate system stands for immersion. Burgess believes that we as educators need to immerse ourselves within our students and within the content.
We have to display a total buy-in approach. If we don't believe, they won't believe.
Burgess really believes in showing and not telling. That means we as teachers need to get up from behind our desks and actually move around our classrooms, sit down with the students, and immerse yourself completely within the content. This actually leads us to the next chapter in the book, dealing with rapport. We as teachers know, obviously, this is step number one in building relationships with your children.
You have to know your students.
Have to know your kids.
If you don't know your students, you're lost. The students display certain characteristics every day. And if you don't know them, when they start displaying disruptive characteristics or unwanted characteristics, if you know your students, you will know something's going on. Because that's not their character.
And even more importantly, James, I firmly believe that students will work a little bit harder for you if they have a good relationship with you versus a student who you might not be on good terms with.
Which brings us to the A in pirate, ask and analyze.
You know, James, I found this to be one of the most interesting chapters in the book. Burgess really includes a lot of valuable information in this chapter. He goes from laws of attraction to system design to creativity, which in my personal opinion should have been the major focus of this chapter. Creativity. We all know as educators that with the lack of funding, resources, and most importantly, time, creativity is essential in order to be successful in the classroom.
So it is very important that we analyze our approaches. We have to make sure that we're maximizing the time. We have to make sure that the setting is a correct setting that would maximize the learning of the student.
You're absolutely right. And I believe this chapter could have been broken down into 4 separate chapters just because there was so much information, so much valuable information in it that Burgess could have went more in depth and gave the reader a little bit more to work with within this chapter.
Again, this chapter makes us as educators look within ourselves and make sure that our approach is adequate for what we're trying to get our students to learn. Don't forget the T. T is for transformation.
This chapter was all about self-analyzation, self-realization. We as educators have to constantly do self-monitoring in order to become the best educator that we can become.
And the transformation also speaks about how to make our students buy in at a high rate. We have to transform our classroom into an environment of higher education.
But it starts with us as educators. We first need to analyze our own strengths and weaknesses, improve upon those, and then that will correlate over to improved success for the students.
Which brings us finally to the E, for enthusiasm. Enthusiasm.
I'm hooking.
As educators, we have to be enthusiastic about everything that we do. We have to be more so enthusiastic about the feedback we give to our students. So we have to make sure that what we give them, as far as the content, because most of the stuff we know they don't want to hear, we have to make them want to listen to it.
You know what's funny, James? When I hear enthusiasm, it takes me to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller, Bueller, Bueller. We've all seen that clip from that movie. If you haven't, this really dry teacher has this really dry voice, and all of the students are in his class sleeping or unengaged. And this is what we want to stay away from as educators.
Being a math inclusion teacher, math is not fun. It's across the board. Students don't like math. So we have to make it enthusiastic for them to want to learn it.
In my opinion, James, the best part of the book was the focus on passion. To me, that's the driving force behind everything, the rapport, the immersion, the transformation, the ask and analyze, and most importantly, the enthusiasm. The passion really drives all of those functions of the pirate system.
As you said before, I think the rapport with the kids is very important because that's something you can do the first day. You don't actually have to have the enthusiasm the first day, or you don't have to actually immerse in anything the first day of school because you're learning who the students are. So if we know who our kids are, if we know who our students are, we have a great understanding of their capabilities. So rapport has got to be set day one.
You know, one of the most important things I think I learned from this book that I plan on using in the future is that of immersion. You know, oftentimes as an educator, we get so caught up in the data, in the assessments, in the grading, and we forget to actually immerse ourselves within the students and basically remind them that we were in their shoes at one point also, and that we are also still lifelong learners and learning as well. So they're not on this journey alone.
I plan to make sure that I utilize my enthusiasm. The kids feed off of us. I know as the year goes on, enthusiasm goes down. As you get closer to testing, especially as you get closer to the end of the year, it's like you get this end of the year fever. So we're more excited about getting out of school as opposed to promoting school. We hope you guys liked our review of Teach Like a Pirate, and you're able to take something back to your classrooms or even your colleagues.
But more importantly, we encourage you guys to go out and pick up a copy of this book for yourself. The ebook, the audio book, it doesn't matter. This book has a lot of valuable information in it that can help you become a better teacher and improve your students' success in the classroom.
Again, I'm James Spencer.
And I'm Joseph Young.
Make sure you go get that book.